And then the third module was spinal cord injuries. And then the fourth module was peripheral nerves. And the fifth module is that little bit that we had on pediatric and neurological diseases. There's not a lot of that. I won't be very many questions on that, but there might be one or two. There's 50 questions. So do we want to just start going through Jeopardy and you want to put your Jeopardies away? What do we want to do?
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions? Does anyone have a preference on where they want to start? My thought was spinal cord injury since we only have an hour. Does that sound like a good plan? So put y'all's away because it has the answer. Anybody been studying Jeopardies?
I looked at mine last night.
Oh, good.
I took a break.
I think y'all probably needed to do that. That's probably why. I don't even think we did much spinal cord Jeopardy in here, did we? Did we do it? I had 2 Jeopardies, so I stuck both of them in there. And then there's a really good spinal cord review sheet that I gave y'all off the week of Jeopardy, so look at that. Okay, so we're just gonna go around and ask questions, and 2 of y'all can get together in your little Jeopardy and count your points if you want to. So we are going to start over here with you guys. What is the spinal cord level for the biceps?
C5.
C5, and that's the functional level when they come in, so is that would be weak.
So
What?
C6 would be full.
Would be the strong. What is a C5 quadriplegic able to do?
They're able to live on their own.
A C5 quad can live on their own?
Wait.
What is the level of independence?
What?
Why do you go back to all this stuff, isn't it? What's the level of independence, everybody?
C6.
Remember that. Everything goes from C6 up and C6 down, really.
Right.
Probably C7 really goes. Anyway, C6. Okay. So they can't really live on their own. Can they feed themselves?
The device.
With a wrist extension device, yes, and to hold the fork maybe. Will they have elbow flexion? But it's weak. Will they have shoulder flexion? Will they have internal rotation?
Yes.
No, they don't. Do they have external rotation?
It's extra.
Yes, that's the one they have. Okay. Okie dokies, up here at the front. What is the cord level for the brachioradialis?
C6.
C6, good. And what does the brachioradialis do?
Elbow flexors would come up.
Come up. And what is the peripheral nerve for the brachioradialis?
Posterior cord?
It is off the posterior cord. Very good. What? I didn't.
Oh.
What is what's the nerve?
Oh, what nerve? Radial.
Radio. Good. Very good. Did you know that?
He was answering a lot faster than my brain could think.
That's real. I'm just sitting here calling this stuff off the top of my head. That's how much y'all really know all this stuff. Believe it or not, y'all really do know all this. Okay. Sky's group and Noah. What's the sensory level over the deltoids?
C5.
C5. I have to ask y'all something hard. What is the peripheral nerve for the deltoid?
Is it axillary?
Pardon?
Axillary?
Axillary, very good. I think that's hard, I have to think about it. I mean, going all the way through like that. What is the movements of the deltoid?
Shoulder flexion, extension, and abduction.
Okay, good. Okay, next group. What's the sensory level over the thumb? P6. What peripheral nerve does thumb flexion and adduction?
Median nerve.
Median, good. What does thumb extension?
Radial.
Radial, good. Okay. Next group, what does hip flexion? What's the level? What's the spinal cord level for hip flexion?
L2.
L2. What are our hip flexor muscles? I can't hear you.
The iliopsoas.
Iliopsoas, good. That's really the whole thing together. So what are the three separated out?
I don't know the third one.
What makes the ilio part of it?
There's a major and a minor,
Mm-hmm.
and then,
Is that the psoas major and the minor?
yes.
Yes. So what's the ilio part of it? Yeah, that's right, iliacus. What innervates the psoas major and minor? I think I heard it right.
Lumbar.
Lumbar. What level? Remember?
L2 and 3.
L2 and 3. Good. Okay. What is the spinal cord level for hip hikers? T12. What is that muscle? Quadratus lumborum. Good.
That's all they get?
Pardon?
That's all they get?
You think I should ask him something else?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I was trying to think. What is the dermatome for the bottom of the foot?
It's
S1. See, I know all these things, right? Okay, over here. What is the spinal cord level for weak knee extension? Okay, and what's the spinal cord level for strong knee extension? L4. What are the spinal cord levels for the knee reflex? Okay, the knee reflex. Knee reflex. Knee reflex. What'd you say? L3 and L4. It's actually probably more, I don't know, when Bill told y'all reflexes, did he say L3 or L4 to y'all?
both.
Did he say both? I think it's officially both, really. It pretty much is the quad, so I believe it's both. I thought he told me L4, but I believe it's L3, L4.
I chose L3 on that last test, and it was wrong.
You put L3 on my test?
Yes.
I had L3 and L4 down there, I don't think so.
It was like L2, L3, L4, L5. Those were the options.
I'm probably giving you credit for that, so we need to look at that test.
Okay.
Okay, so it was on the spinal cord test or the
Yeah, the recent
peripheral?
one. That recent retake?
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I'll look at that. You talking about the paper test?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be easy to look at. Okey doke, I will look at that. Anybody else miss that? So L3 and L4 would be correct on it. I'll check it. Where is the, okay girls, I'm still with you. Where is the dermatome for L3?
That's the anterior monorail.
Yes, and where is the dermatome for L4?
L4 is the medial malleolus,
Mhm.
and there's one more. There's one more. Because L5 is rhinal malleolus and toe. So L4 is medial malleolus. Oh, kneecap.
Kneecap, very good. Okay. Y'all pass, let's go back. What are your two major dorsiflexor muscles?
Tibialis anterior and the extensor hallucis longus.
Extensor hallucis longus. What would bring in eversion with dorsiflexion? What muscle?
The peroneus tertius.
Very good. What is the spinal cord level for the weak ankle dorsiflexion with the tibialis anterior?
I want to say L5.
L4.
L4.
Okay. What is the peripheral nerve supply for the fibularis tertius?
The tertius is going to be the deep fibular.
Deep fibular. Good. Okay. I just want y'all to know you're doing very well. I'm impressed. I mean, really, y'all really are remembering all of this. That's good. Okay, group 1. What is the sensory dermatome for the back of the head?
C2.
C2, good. What is the sensory dermatome for the neck?
C3.
Is that both front and back of the neck?
Yes.
Okay, good. What does the motor function for the face? What cranial nerve?
Facial.
Facial. What does the sensory for the face? What cranial nerve does sensation for the face?
Trigeminal.
Trigeminal. Good. Good.
I got those two mixed up.
There's something on the peripheral nerve I didn't understand. How is it that you can lose plantar flexion but not dorsiflexion?
Plantar flexion is with the tibial nerve, and dorsiflexion would be with the common fibular or the deep fibular, really. The deep fibular nerve would bring in dorsiflexion strong. So tibial does plantar, but you will, you know, your superficial fibular does a very minimal amount of actually does the eversion with plantar flexion. So if you lose that, you're still going to have pretty major plantar flexion because you'll still have all the tibial nerves. Because your major plantar flexors are your gastrocnemius and your soleus. Those are the two major ones. But you'll also have the posterior tibialis. So those are your three major plantar flexors, but for sure the gastroc, and they're all tibial nerves. Does that make sense? Okay, so but if you lose that superficial, you're going to lose a small amount of your plantar flexion, but mainly the eversion is the main thing you'll lose. That's the much bigger. Yeah, that's the bigger function of those fibular muscles is the eversion. They everse the ankle. Does that help? It's kind of confusing because it is that plantar flexion, but they're not made, the way that, they're way over, think where they're, if you look at them where they're located on the leg, for one thing, they're very little skinny muscles. And, their main function, the way they're set up is eversion. They just have to be plantar flexion or dorsiflexion with the person. Okay. Yeah, you look at it, especially that plantar longus, how that tendon goes up underneath the foot. It goes back behind the lateral malleolus and up underneath the foot. But all those muscles are on the lateral aspect of the fibula. So their muscle secretions pull in deeper. Okay, are we back over here? Oh, is it y'all's turn or
No,
we
we
finished y'all? We're here. Okay.
That's allowed.
What is the dermatome for the belly button? P10. What is the dermatome for the nipple line? P4. Give me an example of a spinal cord injury that is lower motor neuron.
Carpal tunnel syndrome.
Pardon?
Carpal tunnel syndrome.
That's true. That's not a spinal cord injury. That's a peripheral nerve injury. But that is lower motor neuron. So think about L5, right?
Anything below L1?
Anything below L1. That's fine. That is correct. I mean, okay. Sky and Noah, can a C5 quadriplegic run an electric wheelchair with a hand control?
Yes.
Yes. What is the highest quad level that can independently push a manual wheelchair functionally?
C6.
Very good. Next group. What is, let's just go over all these. I'm not sure y'all ever learned these real well, but what is a posterior cord injury and a spinal cord injury?
This is the, is it the hyperextension?
It is not necessarily hyperextension. That's that would be the anterior where the blood supply is affected. That'd be an anterior cord. But posterior. So which part of the cord is damaged? It's the posterior cord injury. So what do we lose there?
Did we lose the axillary and radial, right?
Okay, we're going back to spinal cord. We're thinking about
Something to do with
the
motor
spinal
and
cord level.
sensory.
Because I've got all that stuff coming in together. So let me just remind y'all.
Red line. I can't remember, it's like deeper.
So here's your spinal cord.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're going to say this is at P10. And you have someone just came and cut this person in the back of the spinal cord here. I'm glad my spinal cord's so good. Okay, so what do we lose sensory-wise with the posterior cord lesion? This is an incomplete spinal cord injury. Y'all remember?
Like sensation.
So this is what's gone.
Might be like sensation.
Right, and so what sensation have we lost? What's been cut in that? What's in the back of the spinal cord? What are those two nerve tracts called? The cuneatus and the gracilis, remember? In the very back. They're right here. And what is carried on them?
Light touch.
Vibration, light touch, correct? What else? And proprioception. What is the main one that causes problems with these guys? The loss of what?
Proprioception.
Proprioception. So they have to have so anything below that level of injury, below T10, has no proprioception in those muscles. They have muscles there. They're incomplete, and that's what causes that. That's what that looks like. Any questions on that? These are an incomplete spinal cord injury. What is where are we at? I'm gonna ask y'all another one. Okay, I guess you don't want another one.
Oh, yeah, we can take another one.
What is the corticospinal tract?
It goes from the cortex to the spinal cord.
Good. And what kind of information does it carry? That's very good. I mean, that's what I mean. Wonderful.
Is it sensory? Yeah.
Why would it be, okay, the information's going from the cortex to the spinal cord.
Motor.
Motor, yeah. Okay. Next group, what is carried in the spinal thalamic tracts?
Can you repeat the question?
What is carried in the spinal thalamic tracts? What type of information? Sensory information. Do you remember what those three are? Pardon? Deep touch?
And then
Temperature? Okay, you said temperature and deep touch? Okay, what's one more?
we're just torn between either vibration or proprioception.
Now, these are carried in these posterior, so they're for sure not. They go with fasciculus cuneatus and gracilis. So these are not carried with that.
Okay. What was the question?
What is carried, what pain modalities are, what modalities are carried in the spinal thalamic tract? And they said sensory, and then they said deep touch and temperature.
Pain.
Pain! You just get pain, so we don't think about it. Okay. What is the thalamus known for in the brain, girls? Same group? What?
I don't know if I'm confusing the hypothalamus and the thalamus. So. I want to say pain and temperature.
That wasn't really what I was looking for, but it is a major pain and temperature place.
Oh, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for the word that I've called it since we've been in this class.
Can you repeat the question again?
What is the thalamus known for in the brain?
To regulate.
Like sensory regulation or something. That's right.
Been a while.
I don't know.
That's it. What'd you say?
Sensory regulation.
It's sensory relay station. Regulation. Remember that all information goes through the thalamus before it goes to the cortex, except for what?
Smell.
Smell. Very good. Okay.
Very good. Neurons.
Okay, let's see.
No.
What are the functions of the hypothalamus back there? That's y'all.
It regulates the ANS.
Good, it does that. So what are some of those functions? What is the ANS?
It's your autonomic nervous system.
Your autonomic nervous system. And what are the two?
Heart rate, respiration, digestion.
Very good.
You said two.
What's the parasympathetic part of it do?
The, fight or flight.
Parasympathetic.
Parasympathetics rest and digest.
Okay.
Which
And then the sympathetic does the
fight or
fight or
flight.
flight. Good.
Vasopressin.
Does it control thirst? Does it control hunger? What happens if you have a parasympathetic response? Does the blood pressure go up or down? Down. Good. Okay, next group. What is a Brown-Forcord syndrome?
Yeah,
Okay, the first side is proprioception and light touch. And then.
What happens with the Brown-Forcord syndrome? Tell me what's caused it.
Oh, a knife or gunshot wound hemisection.
Okay, hemisection, so it's a hemisection, right?
Yeah.
And so what do you lose on the same side?
On the same side is proprioception, light touch, and vibration. I think.
Motor. Think more, just think motor.
Okay.
And then what do you lose on the opposite side? Because it's checked.
Deep touch.
Deep touch and
And that one's pain.
pain and temperature, yeah. Because they're the ones that cross over the spinal cord level. Vicari, and Amici, what is the Babinski reflex?
It's the toes, when you go over the, underneath the foot, toe goes up.
Okay, good. And then it goes down back in. Will a brand new baby have a Babinski reflex?
Yes.
Will a spinal cord injury patient in the spinal shock phase have a Babinski reflex?
No.
No. Good. What is the spinal shock phase of a spinal cord injury?
It's placidity for 2 weeks.
Yep, around 2 weeks. Good, very good. Okay. Group 1, what is sacral sparing? What type of spinal cord injury is it? Is it a complete injury?
No.
No. So it's an incomplete injury.
Where, lower extremities are spared, but the upper extremities are, affected.
Good. Good. So if you're a C5 injury, your arms are going to be like a C5 quad. If you're a C6, your arms are like a C6. C7 is that one. Okay. Is bowel and bladder function spared?
Yes.
Is sexual function spared?
Yes.
Very good. Okay. If the eye is positioned laterally in the eye socket, which cranial nerve has been affected? Pardon?
If it's positioned laterally, it's oculomotor.
Oculomotor, and what's the number on that one?
3.
Okay. Sky and Noah, if you have trouble chewing, which cranial nerve has been affected? Trigeminal, and which division of the trigeminal nerve is affected?
Yeah, but isn't it like 1, 2, 3, 4 or something? The division.
I don't know. I thought there's names for it, but I don't know.
Mastication.
Mastication, that's the masseters, that's the muscle. But what is there's 3 divisions of the trigeminal nerve, and one of them does the chewing part.
3.
It is the third one.
I
don't
thought
know
so.
if it's the third one, but it's one of them.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Anybody know which one it is? Mandibular, it's that bottom part.
I knew it started with an M.
Okay. Next group, if you have a drooping lip, which facial, never mind. If you have dysphagia, which 2 cranial nerves have been affected?
Glottal and vagus,
Good, and what is dysphagia?
inability to swallow.
Not inability, that would be aphasia. What's dysphagia? Just have trouble with it. Abnormal, okay. Next group, what is the motor function for the tongue? Which cranial nerve does the motor function for the tongue? I think you were right, I heard it, I think.
Hypoglossal.
Hypoglossal. What cranial nerve does sensation for the tongue?
What did you ask?
What cranial nerve does sensation for the tongue?
Yeah, there's 2, isn't there?
Not for sensation.
Just for
You're
taste.
thinking for taste, which you're fixing to have to tell me anyway.
Can I just make the taste one first?
Yes, you may.
Facial,
Facial does which part?
the 2/3.
Okay, and what's the other one?
Glossopharyngeal,
Very good.
that's the 1/3.
Okay.
So, you said sensation,
Mm-hmm.
the trigeminal, or?
Yes, it is trigeminal.
Okay,
Very good.
trigeminal wasn't facial.
Okay.
It's 4.
I'm so tired.
What cranial nerve back there in the back does tearing?
Facial.
Facial. What cranial nerve does the voice box?